Hi, this is Jason over at Horrific Nightmares, and today I want to do a review for you for 1978's Magic. Magic clocks in at 107 minutes and is directed by the late, great Richard Attenborough. Now, I wanted to do this review for a couple reasons. The first reason is we just lost another great actor. On March the 3rd of 2018, and that would be David Ogden Stiers, who has a brief part in this movie, although I thought it was memorable. So, rest in peace, David Ogden Stiers. The other reason why I wanted to do this review was because at the end of last month, I entered a contest for Eastwood for Life fan, and he had us name our 3 favorite movies, and I did 4, and this was my 4th, which is Magic. I've been a big fan of this movie ever since I was younger. We had, let's see, I was born in 71, and we had our first, my father and I's first movie rental sort of things were the RCA video discs. I had that on RCA video discs. I had it on Beta, VHS, DVD now, of course, and probably I will upgrade someday to Blu-ray. Now, Magic is about a magician named Corky Withers, who is played by Anthony Hopkins. Since magicians aren't as popular as they were in the past, he goes to a club and bombs, so he has to find a way of connecting to the audience, or to, as they put it in the movie, to use his charm. So he starts using he becomes a ventriloquist and starts using a dummy, which is this guy right here, which his name is Fats. Because he's a great magician and a great ventriloquist, they want to book him on television and have him do a pilot and all that kind of stuff. And he freaks out about the terms because he has to take a health exam. And according to him, they say something's wrong with him. So he flees and goes back to his where he grew up in the Grossinger's, I believe it is, in New York. And in going there, he looks up an old girlfriend, a girl he's loved since he was in high school, played by Anne Margaret, and her name is Peggy Ann Snow. So, you know, there's a bit of a love story there, and I'm going to kind of leave it there. This is they call it a psychological love story, which I do agree with. In my opinion, it's a masterpiece. I love this movie. Like I said, I've loved it since I was a kid. Once again, the movie stars Anthony Hopkins, who I'm sure we remember as being Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs, among other great performances he's had. And there's Anne Margaret, who I remember playing, I think she was in Blue Hawaii with Elvis Presley, not to mention countless other roles that she's had. It also stars the late, great Burgess Meredith, and you're going to be hearing a lot of people that passed away in this movie. Unfortunately, we lost a lot of people that played in this film. Burgess Meredith, Of course, he played Mickey Goldman from the Rocky movies, and he also played the Penguin from the 1960s Batman live action show. He passed away on September 9th of 1997 at the age of 89. And he passed away from melanoma and Alzheimer's disease. Now, Richard Attenborough, as I said, also passed away. He passed away on August the 24th of 2014 at the age of 90. I believe he passed away in a retirement home, so I'm not sure. I tried to look up why he passed away, but I couldn't find anything. Of course, David Ogden Stiers passed away March the 3rd of 2018 due to bladder cancer. And another performer in this movie, Ed Lauter, who I just thought he was great. He was in tons of films, tons of movies. He passed away on October the 16th of 2013 due to mesothelioma. Now, I think this movie is incredible. It has a lot of interesting features to it. It has a featurette called Fats and Friends, which is extremely informative. I mean, it's really cool. You can find out all kinds of really cool things from that. Has an interview with the cinematographer, I believe, which is Victor J. Kemper. Interview with Anthony Hopkins. Anne Margaret makeup test. It has the theatrical trailers, the TV spots, which I'll talk more about that in a second, the radio spots, and a poster gallery. So there's a ton of stuff on this. Now, the TV spot was how I originally got introduced to this film. I was born in 71. This came out in 78, which would have made me around 7 at the time. I couldn't sleep. I walked out into my family room where my father was watching TV, and I don't know if I had had a nightmare or if I wasn't feeling well. I can't remember. All I remember is this television spot scared me really, really bad. Just terrified me. And I begged my father to turn off the television. I mean, it just freaked me out. And apparently, the commercial didn't run very long because they had it pulled from the television because it was terrifying children, which kind of left them, no advertisement for the film. And that's just one of the things that you'll find out about this movie. It was kind of plagued with actors leaving, directors leaving. The movie was originally supposed to be directed by Norman Jewison. He left. Corky Withers, who was played by Anthony Hopkins, was originally supposed to be played by Jack Nicholson, which I thought was very interesting. But he left. He refused to wear a hairpiece. And the Burgess Meredith character, Ben Green, was supposed to be played by Laurence Olivier, who was really ill at the time and had to kind of bow out. But there's just so many interesting things about this film. I was completely obsessed with it in my younger years, probably because the commercial terrified me, and I couldn't wait to see it because it terrified me, and I just loved it ever since then. Watching the TV spots still creep me out to this day. The movie doesn't really creep me out, although there is some creep value to the film. But that television spot, it's a rough one. It's a rough one. Being obsessed with this movie, I also read the book when I was younger, which is a little different from the movie. It goes into more detail about Corky's life and is told from the perspective of Fats. Um, so that was pretty interesting. The guy who wrote the book is William Goldman. William Goldman, yeah. And he also wrote the screenplay. So, I thought that was interesting. But, of course, in a rating, this film, I'm going to give it a 10. Um, the only thing I don't like about this film is the last line in the movie, which I'm not going to spoil. I just think it's kind of goofy, and I haven't liked it ever since I've seen, ever since I first saw the film years and years ago. But I give it a pass. I get what they were going for on it. It's just that last line that's kind of hokey. But it doesn't ruin the film for me. It doesn't really take me out of it. It's just something I wish they would have done something else with. But this movie is definitely a 10 for me. It's one of my all-time favorites. Um, I can probably quote any phrase from this movie verbatim. I've seen it so many times. I watched it again the other day just to do this review. Not that I needed to, because I've seen it so many times, but it just, it's been a 10 since I was a kid, and it's a 10 now. And I would definitely recommend it to anyone who not only likes horror movies, but likes horror movies with quite a bit of character development. Um, that's one thing I'll give this movie. It had a lot of character development. You cared about the people that were involved in the film. So, but anyway, that's my review for Magic, one of my favorite films of all time. And until next time, guys, peace.